Snowflake, scalable, secure, and simple. Hi, my name's Andy Nathan. I'm a senior client partner with Beyond Key, and I'm joined here today by Prabhash Thakur, who's our Snowflake expert, and Nilesh Jawanjal, who's our senior business analyst. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi Andy, hello everyone.
Hi Andy. Hello everyone.
Hi. Thank you both for joining us, gentlemen, and also thank you everyone who's joining us here today on this call. We're really excited to be able to share with you more about how to use Snowflake. And figured to get us started, we want to ask you a quick question about how can we help your organization manage your data more effectively? Are you looking for more information about acquisition, engineering, governance, management, business intelligence, data science? Let us know your thoughts. Okay, great. I can see we have a wide variety of answers here. A lot of people are interested in, it looks like the business intelligence side, which is great. So what we're going to do, just to give you some ideas, and that's awesome. Whatever you're here to learn more about today, we have a little bit for everyone. We have 6 different topics that we're going to cover today. First, before we even dive into Snowflake, we want to give you an overview of who we are at Beyond Key. We'll spend about 3 to 5 minutes on the topic, but we just want you to understand where we're coming from and how we fit into the Snowflake equation. Second, in addition to before we dive into Snowflake and see all the cool stuff, we want to just go through the basics and benefits, give you a clear reason of why this could be so beneficial to your organization and how it operates for your operations and every single component of your organization. Third, we're then going to go through another 5 minutes and talk about Snowflake Flow and showing you one example of how this can work and how you can capture data in your organization. Fourth, we're then going to go through 2 live business application use cases where we show you how other organizations have used Snowflake for their organization. Fifth, Prabesh is then going to lead a live Snowflake demo, and he will make sure that he's answering all of your questions. You go step by step, and you can see exactly how this works for your organization. Sixth, and finally, we're then going to do a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. Now, keep in mind, if you do have questions, Nilesh is monitoring the Q&A as we go through, and he will be answering those questions on the Zoom Q&A, but we do want to answer them again at the end. And we do this for a few reasons. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's talk about number one. Who are we? Beyond Key provides software development and solutions for a wide array of organizations. In addition to that, we have 2 different divisions underneath Beyond Key. The first one is Beyond Internet, which provides Microsoft 365 services and solutions. And that includes a lot of tools like Azure and Power BI that we'll be talking about today. We also have Beyond Voice, which provides vision and voice technology solutions as well. We have a satisfied client roster of over 150 clients and growing. You can see some of our clients on the right-hand side of this slide. In addition to that, we have been in business for over 18 plus years and growing. And we have over 300 plus global experts that are in our organization, and that's been growing at a rapid pace as well. And that's part of the reason that we have a global office presence in Chicago and Indianapolis here in the US, as well as delivery centers in Indore, Pune, and Hyderabad in India. We are a Snowflake services partner, by the way, and we are certified for the 4th year in a row as a great place to work. Furthermore, we just this year received our ISO 2701-2013 certification for cybersecurity, which is a big component of what we're going to be talking about today in Snowflake, because we're really big on security. In addition to that, we're also a Microsoft solutions partner, which is awesome because of the fact that we have the experience not only with Snowflake as a service partner, but also Microsoft as a solutions partner. So we can help with both sides of that equation if you're looking for help connecting tools like Azure or Power BI. I mentioned we work with over 150 clients and growing. Here, we work with clients in the finance, insurance, retail, construction, nonprofit, energy, automotive, manufacturing, healthcare, real estate, logistics, and facility management, just to name a few different industries. I mentioned earlier that if you have questions, please feel free to use the Zoom Q&A. Nilesh is monitoring the Q&A as we go throughout the webinar, so he can answer your questions as we continue to go. Furthermore, we will then answer those questions at the end of the webinar as well. And we do this for two reasons. One, we know that some people have different learning styles, so you might prefer seeing it visually written out in front of you, having the answer. Or you might prefer having a verbal answer at the end. Two, if you have a question, it's very possible other people in attendance also have a similar question as well. And we want to make sure everyone has the right information before they leave. One final note, we mentioned earlier, we are really big on security. We do not share your information when we go through the Q&A at the end, because we don't want to give away any private information. So we won't even include your name or other information. That's the best way we can ensure your privacy. With that said, let's talk about number 2. To understand what is Snowflake, to understand the basics and the benefits, we have to take a step back and say, hey, what is a modern data warehouse? A modern data warehouse, as you can see here from this slide, is a cloud-based solution that helps organizations gather, store, and process data to help you make intelligent decisions. How does that happen? Well, depending upon whatever department you're in, you could be in finance, human resources, operations. It starts with the idea that you acquire data from a wide variety of sources. Especially today, we are seeing massive growth in the amount of data that gets collected by organizations every year. In fact, in the last 4 years alone, 90% of all data ever collected in the history of humanity was collected in those 4 years. That's huge. And so you're seeing a lot of acquisition from IoT sources, social media, ERP, legacy data stores, operational systems, and other tools. And when you have all those different data sources, you need to have a way of collecting that information together. And that's where the data engineering part comes in. We're going to talk a little bit later about something called Snowpipes, and that's kind of like their Snowflake's version of pipelines, the beginning of their ETL process. And a lot of that data engineering helps make that possible because it takes in all of that information and starts feeding it into your system. So you have a warehouse with all that data being stored in one place. However, it doesn't stop there. This is where the key point with the data management and governance comes in place. And a lot of organizations have seen how important it is to have good stewardship of their data the last few years, making sure that your data quality is good, making sure you're cleaning out any duplicate information. What happens when people move, or what happens when they change jobs? How do you adjust that data? How do you make sure you're keeping it relevant and up to date? Once you have that quality data, then you could start using it for better business intelligence and reporting purposes. And this is really where a lot of us want to start going. We want to be able to report on all this data. Once we know, for example, that, hey, our human resources department did this in Q2, now in Q3, we could use all this data to make sure we improve that. And by having all this data fed into the system, you could start analyzing and looking at your KPIs, making sure you have the advanced analytics and visualization needed to understand that data more effectively. Power BI, which we're going to talk about later on in the demo, is a great tool for visualizing all this data in one central location. The final step in a modern data warehouse is AI. And I know AI is a very hot topic now, especially with tools like ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot. And a lot of the tools like AI, deep learning, machine learning, statistical modeling, natural language processing, it all comes in because it builds on all the data that's being fed into your system. Remember, 90% of all data acquired in the history of humanity happened in the last 4 years. That's a lot of data for you to process. That means that you need the smart tools to make smarter decisions with what you're doing. And that's one of the ways that Snowflake helps, because Snowflake has over 1,300 different technology partners and system integrators. So depending upon where you're getting your data, for example, if you're in the accounting or finance department, maybe you're getting data from QuickBooks, maybe you have a payroll system, maybe you have other financial tools that you're feeding in this data, and you could start connecting with all these different technology partners and system integrators in one central place. And that's where you could start searching that information and start finding the information you need across all the different technology sources that you use. It's one of the reasons why there are over 2.6 billion, not million, billion daily queries on the Snowflake data cloud every single day. That's because people go in, they connect all their data in one central location, and this data warehouse, Snowflake, will then be able to feed all of this information in their data cloud to start finding the right information that you need. And they're having a lot of people searching that information, trying to find the right information across various sources. It's part of the reason why over the average customer experience in the past has seen an average of over $21 million in benefits over 3 years. That's a 612% ROI on their investment for Snowflake. That's huge. That means that investing in that data starts giving you a 612%, 6 times more than what you invested in. You don't see that a lot of times, that large of a return on investment. So we're talking about Snowflake. Let's go into the basics of how it works. To start with how it works, let's talk about the different offerings that Snowflake has. There are 5 different offerings that we want to focus on today. They're collaboration, data engineering, cybersecurity, data science and machine learning, and applications. Some of them we've already talked about before. Collaboration we haven't discussed as much yet, but the idea of collaboration is very simple. You want to be able to not just have data, you want to be able to collaborate that data with other people in your organization. You want to be able to share that with relevant vendors and maybe even go cross-departmentally. So being able to collaborate is vital to any organization. Furthermore, you also have data engineering. Data engineering means that you're engineering that data to be more effective for your organization. Cybersecurity is, as we mentioned, a very key component of what we're doing here today. And a lot of cybersecurity takes place inside of Snowflake's enterprise level security systems. You also get access to the data science and machine learning tools that are so vital to your organization. We were talking before about how important AI is. Data science and machine learning take advantage of that. You also have different applications within Snowflake that you could use for your various purposes. Underneath that, you also have a bunch of different tools like a data warehouse, a data lake, a Unistore, which allow you to take all this data, put it into Snowflake, and also be able to connect all the different the data sources that you do have in one central location. For example, the cross-cloud Snow Grid can take data from different cloud storage tools. Like if you're using Azure and you also have data in Amazon Web Service or AWS, you could combine all that data from those different cloud tools in one Snow Grid on Snowflake. At the end of the day, having all of this information in one central place gives you an intelligent infrastructure along with an elastic performance engine that can grow and scale, which is one of the things we're talking about today. So you can optimize your storage to use it for your specific needs. So I just want to go into the integrations a little bit further. We talked about this briefly, but there are 4 different types of integrations that you'll normally see with Snowflake. The first integration is a data integration. So think about Azure. Azure is a cloud storage tool from Microsoft. Basically, you're storing your information in the cloud, and Azure can directly connect to Snowflake. So that way you're able to connect those 2 tools, and all the information from those different data sources from Azure, from SAP, Qlik, SnapLogic are connected directly into Snowflake. You also have, to make it a little bit smarter, you have different machine learning and data science tools that can also connect to Snowflake as well. Tools like Dataiku, Alteryx, and Amazon SageMaker are great for making sure that you're able to make smarter decisions with your data. And remember, because it's a data warehouse where everything is located centrally, it's all in one place. So you get more and better data in one central location, and you can connect these tools to make smarter decisions with that data. At the same time, We mentioned how important it is to have security, governance, and observability. And that's where tools like Informatica, Hunters, and Datadog come in. They will take the information that you have and make sure you're able to clean out duplicates. You can make sure that you're updating your data as needed, making sure that you're having the correct data in there. Also, by the way, for governance, making sure that if someone doesn't want to be in your list, you're removing them from there, basically complying with do not call or other laws that you might see with regarding data collection. Finally, you have business intelligence. And one of the goals that we're going to be talking about today is how to take all this data and get better business intelligence. You have different tools like Tableau, Domo, and Power BI that can help make this possible. Tableau and Domo are great tools. We've done webinars on them in the past. We're going to focus today on Power BI. And because of the fact that it's a Microsoft tool and it's really useful for helping you connect all this different data sources and to visualize that information more effectively. So when we talk about Snowflake features, we've talked a lot about how it integrates with what you're doing. There's a number of different features that happen with this setup. The first thing, the feature that we want to talk, sorry, I was thinking about ahead. The first feature we want to talk about is setup and pricing. So when you set up Snowflake, one of the great features that you have available is that you could separate storage and compute. And when you hear storage and compute, you're like, wait, what are those? Are they the same? If you've used Snowflake before, you probably heard these terms. Basically, storage is the inactive storage. So if you're storing 1 gigabyte of data, that's storage. If you're using compute, that means that you're actually using some of the applications on Snowflake, or you're turning information into business intelligence, and you need to access that data. So if you have 1 gigabyte of data stored, or 1 terabyte, however much information you have, you're going to put that on Snowflake and you're going to store it. You don't have to pay for computing unless you actually use it. And the same thing goes true if you're actually storing your data on Azure, you don't have to pay for your storage on Snowflake. A lot of modern data warehouses don't separate those two and they charge you double. By doing this, you're being more cost efficient. So the compute feature comes in if you're actually using the data and you want to turn it into something like a Power BI report and you're computing that information. By separating this out, it makes it more scalable, it makes it more simple for you to use, and it makes it more cost effective. It also allows you to integrate with different cloud providers as well. Because remember, if you don't have to pay for storage, you still have to store the information. So maybe you decide that it's cheaper or more effective to store it with Azure or AWS. You're able to do that with Snowflake. There's no issues. Furthermore, there's lower maintenance by using Snowflake. Because of all the tools that are involved in Snowflake, it automates a lot of those compute resources. So once everything's set up, you don't have to have your users start doing a lot of work and doing a lot of coding. There's zero management on their side because it's a codeless type tool. Furthermore, it has a cloud native architecture, which makes it secure and compliant with your specific needs. As we are aware, if you're in healthcare or if you're in financial services, there are very specific security and compliance needs that you need to be aware of. So for example, for healthcare, you need to make sure you're HIPAA compliant. Having the right cloud native architecture can help make that more possible. And it also showcases that you have done everything you need to do to be compliant with current laws and regulations. It's also scalable. So whether you're just starting out in an organization or whether you have a large Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 company and you're looking to grow it, you have the ability to scale no matter what the data needs are. There's also data sharing that's included. And this is kind of sounds basic because you're like, wait, of course there's data sharing because you're talking about data. But the great thing here is that you don't have to move the data. You could enable secure sharing of the data with external partners without them seeing all the background information that's in there. They're getting the information shared to them without sharing information that you don't want shared, without moving data from place to place and having copies of everything everywhere. You also have streaming data sources like using Twitter. So you don't have, whenever there's a feed in Twitter, because think about it, or I'm sorry, I apologize. It's now x.com. Whenever x.com now updates their stream or updates their feed, you will then start seeing new information coming in, and you could directly feed the streaming data source into Snowflake so you can get live results as they happen. Finally, it's ease of use. Sorry, I heard finally, it's ease of use. So there's a lot of different user levels. Doesn't matter what user level you're at, you have the ability to choose what you're seeing. So it's easy for everyone to use this information without giving up too much to other people. If you don't want someone to have access, you don't have to have access to that. People only get access to what they need, which makes it easier for everyone. So I've been going through a lot of information here, and I'm kind of curious to see what motivated you to attend the Snowflake webinar today. I'm launching a poll real quick. Are you looking to save money on your data warehouse? Are you looking to reduce your maintenance costs? Or I'm sorry, reduce your maintenance needs? Are you looking to improve security? Are you looking to scale your data capabilities? Are you looking to enhance your data sharing? Let us know in the poll what you're interested in, because we're kind of curious to know what you want to know most. I'll give about 10 seconds. Okay, I can see we have a lot of great answers here. A number of people were talking about reducing maintenance or saving money, which not surprised. That is awesome. So let me get out of this. So whatever you're looking to do with Snowflake, we just want to give you some ideas of how you can use it to get the utmost value out of your Snowflake journey. So to understand that data journey, we want to give you an example of one type of flow that you might see with Snowflake. So let's take some examples here of different data sources. So in this case, you can see there are 4 different types of data sources here. There's an Excel spreadsheet, there's a Twitter feed or x.com. Sorry, I should probably rebrand this, but it's still Twitter to me. There's also Salesforce, so your CRM, and you have a Microsoft SQL server. You have 4 different sources of data that you need to feed into your system. In this case, we're going to use Microsoft Azure as the cloud storage tool, and we're going to use their Azure Data Factory, their ADF, to help feed the information in there. So ADF will then take the information from your different sources. It's kind of a pipeline from your data sources like Excel or Salesforce, and it takes it into the Azure cloud. And once it takes it into the Azure cloud, it stays in the Azure blob storage. So basically, this is the basic storage for your information. Well, let's say you now want to do stuff with that storage. You want to start computing information from these different sources. Maybe you need to combine information from an Excel spreadsheet with your Salesforce CRM. Maybe you're looking to combine your sales results compared to how much you use Twitter and how much you use x.com. At this point, what you're going to do is you're going to connect Azure to Snowflake, and you're going to do it through a Snowpipe. A Snowpipe is a connector that connects Azure or other tools to Snowflake. At this point, Snowflake will then take your information into their system. Now, Snowflake has 3 different levels of data. They call it bronze, silver, and gold. This is their branding, by the way, for their data. Basically, bronze is the untouched data. So, you think about the fact that if you're using data engineering, you're cleaning the data, or I'm sorry, data governance. You're cleaning the data to use for your specific procedures. So you take the information in, you go to silver, it cleans it, and then it goes to gold, and then you could then share that to different analytical tools. So you're going from pretty much raw data to data you could use to share onto other different tools like Power BI. It doesn't have to be Power BI, by the way. It could be Domo, it could be Tableau, it could be Click, it could be a bunch of different tools. The point here is you now have data that you've had raw in Excel, Salesforce, Twitter, or SQL Server, and it's now useful as a valuable data visualization tool on Power BI that you could use for your specific needs to measure your KPIs, to understand how your operations are going, to take a look at, hey, how are our finances going this month? And maybe you could even connect that to different machine learning tools on Power BI to start making smarter decisions with that data. And Snowflake transforms that data that you're using. So when we take a look at number 4, which we're going to talk about now, is different case studies, you can see below the process that we use for the flow. It doesn't happen the same for every organization. So the first use case that we're going to talk about is a manufacturing company in Indianapolis. And what they had was they were wanting to leverage their customer website data interaction from Google Analytics. So as most people know, Google Analytics has updated their system. It's called Google Analytics 4. It's changed a lot about how people get data from their website interactions. And in this case, this manufacturing company wanted to leverage Snowflake to help with this process. And as you can see here, there's a lot of different, and we're not going to go into this flow as much on the left-hand side. There's a lot of different data processes or third-party sources, and one of them is Google Analytics. And the great thing about Google Analytics 4 is it can connect easily with the Google Cloud or BigQuery, which is part of Google. Taking this data and then converting it, you can use BigQuery Google Analytics 4 data into Snowflake because it's a scalable, flexible data solution. So Google is a great example of a data-heavy analytical tool. And it's a heavy analytical tool because of the fact that it's basically taking all this data from your website. So if your website is getting 100,000 visitors every single month, there are 1 million visitors every single month, it's not only taking a look at how many people visited, it shows how long they were on your site, what pages did they go to, what sources did they come from before they got there. And there's a lot of information that you could get from this. But because of the fact that Google Analytics 4 had updated all these different processes that a lot of organizations had spent a decade or more using with the previous Google solution, which is Universal Analytics, they needed a better scalable solution. And this is where our scalable data model helped the client, because they were able to use Snowflake's multi-layer data storage capabilities to better interact with their website data and be able to get more information. So they were able to understand what was going on their website and how that led to better customer interactions. The second use case we want to talk about is for a financial company in New York. And this organization wanted to improve their data management and reporting capabilities. So in this case, you can see it's a little bit different, but a lot of it's the same idea here. As you can see on the left-hand side, they were taking a look at all their data. They had a lot of different data sources here from third-party sources, enterprise applications, OLTP databases, and it goes into a data warehouse and a data lake, and then it comes out and gives them the information that they need. In this case, the analytic information was finance. So what they were doing was they wanted to modify their existing Oracle database. By doing this, we were able to leverage Snowflake as their centralized data warehousing platform, because it was taking data from their Oracle database, putting it into Snowflake. And then by using Snowflake, we were able to develop customized financial reports that suited their specific needs. And that's really, at the end of the day, what this is all about. All these different steps, it's not that you have to do every single step. And if you're not a developer, you don't have to know all the different things that happen in between, but it's good to know it doesn't just go into a black box, but it actually goes into a system like Snowflake and turns it into the type of financial reports that an organization like this needed to improve their data management and reporting capabilities. So with that, we've covered a lot of ground here on Snowflake, and there's a lot of information. So probably the best way to show you, now that we've gone through the what is Snowflake? Why is it so beneficial? What is the flow? What are the different case studies? Is to actually show you a demo of how this works. So to help you with that, I'm going to transfer this over to Prabhash, and he is going to take it from there. Prabhash, you ready?
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for giving such a deep introduction on Snowflake. Hello, everyone. I'm Prabhas Thakur. I work as a technical lead at BeyondKey. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, I hope it's visible for everyone.
Yes, Prakash.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to use this slide from Andy's presentation for a better understanding of this demo. We will jump back and forth on this slide to understand where our data is at that point. Now, for this demo, we have taken example of an insurance company data. So imagine this. You have an insurance company. So you will have an HR system with employee data, an ERP system that will manage financials, some Salesforce tracking customer interactions, and let's say a CRM also, a CRM system which will handle your customer relationships. Each system is going to generate vital data. Now, to answer questions such as what is your current employee count, last month's sales figure, sales trends, peak sales months, or which employee achieved the highest sales, you need all this data in one place. Snowflake will act as a common ground where you will store all this data together. So in this demonstration, we are going to answer two crucial questions. First, how do we efficiently bring data into Snowflake? Because once we have all the different source systems, you need to bring data into Snowflake, and that should be efficient enough. Next question will be, how do we combine this data and transform this data so that we can get some meaningful and insightful dashboards, which we will create using Power BI or Tableau. It's up to your choice. Now, for this demo, we will assume that you have already set up a data factory that connects to all these different source systems, and it is already bringing data into Azure Blob Storage. Now, here is the exciting part. You can bring data into your either CSV files or JSON, XML, Parquet. It's up to you. And you can load this data without doing any transformation into Snowflake. For example, for this demo, we have used this bronze database. So just for a quick overview, what is bronze, silver, and gold? So bronze will just contain your raw database, not cleaned. Silver database is going to contain some deduplicated data, table structure format, and gold database is going to contain all your business logic. Now, once you have all this data in Snowflake, think of it. You have your raw data. So Snowflake is not only your data warehouse, you can also use it as a data lake. So once you have data in Snowflake, you can delete data from Azure Blob Storage to save some costs on storage. Our focus on this demo is on a specific data set, that is insurance claim data, which we have sourced from Salesforce. Our aim is to create some insightful report that will reveal critical business metrics such as number of claims, total premium, and claim amounts. So now coming to data, let's see one of the JSON data that we are going to use for this demo. So this is our claim detail JSON data, which is not looking so good. It's in a JSON format. Querying this data is going to be difficult. Making a report out of this data is going to be difficult. Now let's see one of our CSV files that we have used in this demo. This is also extracted from Salesforce. So this is our billing data. As you see, we have different columns, our records available here. Now we are going to combine these CSV and JSON files in Snowflake. So now coming back to our data journey, as our data is already available here, behind the scenes, we have already created a Snowpipe inside Snowflake that is loading this data as soon as it arrives in blob storage. So this is near real time. You don't need to do anything manual intervention. Everything will happen automatically by Snowflake. Compute cost, like compute and everything will be managed by Snowflake. Now, after Snowflake loads the data into bronze, okay, before going into Snowflake, let's see how data is available in our blob storage. So if I could show you, you see this data in different folders, we have stored it. So here is our claim detail.json files. We have our status. You can also see this data here. This is a small data set, although. So once we have our data here, Snowpipe already loaded into bronze layer. Let's query that data into Snowflake, and let's see how it will look like. So if I execute this query from bronze, this is how it's going to look like. As I mentioned, not so good looking, not so clean data. Now, once let's come back to this data journey again for a better understanding. You can implement stored procedure and task to automatically do the transformation from this data into silver data and convert it into a beautiful table structure format, which will be easy for you to read. We have already implemented, so we are not going to go through the coding process. That's technical. That's going to be very technical. So let's come here and see how data will look like once it's transformed and deduplicated and converted into a table structure format. See this data, very readable, clean. You can query this data from anywhere. You can build your business logic out of this data. It's clean. Because you will be implementing procedure and task to schedule this transformation, any new data will be transformed automatically, no manual intervention required. Once data is available in Silver database, you can implement your business logics on these Silver database tables, and you can create your Gold database tables, which will act as a source to your Power BI reports. Let's see how data will look like in Gold. So let's say we have this data available in Gold. Now, if you would notice, you will see some null values here in the amount column. So why so? There was a data available. There should not be null values. So let me introduce you to another Snowflake feature for security purpose, that is data masking policy. Snowflake provides data masking, which you can apply to hide your sensitive data from users who are not supposed to see this data. Once masked, Snowflake can decide whether person has access to see this data or not. If that person does not have access to see this data, Snowflake is going to see, show them just a dummy data based on whatever you have configured. You can show them 000 or null. It's up to your choice. So let's say a business user to whom this data actually means something, like this data is intended to see by a business person. If that person is trying to query this table, how it will look like for them. Let me switch my role to business user. And if I query the same table again with business role, business user, I can see values here. So once your data is available in Gold, you can create your, you can create your Power BI dashboards, which will answer your business questions like number of claims, new, paid partial, claim amount, assured amount, all these questions. Now you can also see your executive summaries, like claim amount comparison over the time, average customer satisfaction, number of claim by channel, like policy by status. All these you can do once you have your clean data and report ready data available in Snowflake. Now, coming back to the data journey again. Here at BeyondKey, we have expertise to configure your data connector, which is Azure Data Factory, or it's based on Amazon Glue, or you have, if you have Google BigQuery, it's up to your business. Now at BeyondKey, we have expertise to configure this data connector, ingest data into cloud platforms from all these different source systems into your cloud storage, and then create a compelling dashboard. Our specialized team of professionals can handle all aspects of this data journey, whether it's setting up native connectors, automatic data pipelines, or building insightful dashboards. We've got you covered. So this concludes our demo. If you have any question or wish to explore further, feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. I'll hand over this to Andy now.
Thank you so much, Prabhash. That is awesome. I'm gonna take over screen sharing again.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen again? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I saw some people had some questions while you were going through the demo. So let me just access those questions here. So the first question, so someone was asking, what's the difference between Snowflake and Redshift? Because we were talking a lot about Amazon Web Services. So they were asking what the difference is between the two.
Yeah. So coming to the difference between Redshift and Snowflake. So first main difference is with Snowflake, you can handle any type of data, whether it's structured, non-structured, or semi-structured. And in semi-structured also, JSON, XML, Avro, Parquet. But Amazon Redshift only supports JSON data and table structure data. That's one of the biggest difference for data engineering purpose. Now, apart from this, there could be other differences also, like setup, maintenance, or management. AWS Redshift, for that you need someone a very skilled architect. But in Snowflake, it's everything is managed and maintained by Snowflake. You just need your data engineer to do your work.
Okay, awesome. So next one, because we were talking about cost efficiencies, someone was asking, do you have any suggestions on how to minimize your Snowflake prices or bills?
Yes. So where by default, Snowflake will automatically do that for you by storing it in like the storage will be compressed. Whatever you give to them, they will compress it and then store it, and they will charge it accordingly, like on compressed data. But apart from that, from your side, what you can do, you can stop using your warehouse when you are not using. Like we keep our warehouses switched on. If you are not using, turn it off, or at least set the auto suspend mode. That is something you can uh, learn, or it's very easy to set up. Plus, for your query, if your query need extra small warehouse, like small compute size, then don't create a large compute size. First, check whether your query is working on a smaller compute size or not. Another thing is, do not make all the tables as a permanent table. There is a transient or and temporary table. If you feel you can work with a temporary table for the current scenario, go ahead. Or if you want to materialize this table for future use, you already have the raw data. You don't need to go back in time for all the tables. You can create transient table. That will save you from time travel cost and fail safe. Like there is a fail safe storage. Another could be, let's say you are running a query. So that query should be optimized enough. You should not use a query which is going to take lots of time, and that is not optimized to perform on a performance. So I hope these all can save your costs.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I see you have just a few ways of doing that. That's great. So the next question was how does Snowpipe work in Snowflake? Because we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, so Snowpipe, it's like a object given by Snowflake, which connects you to your external cloud storage. So there is a concept called external stage in Snowflake. You can create a layer of external stage on your external cloud provider storage, for example, blob storage or S3 bucket. You create a stage on top of that, and in Snowpipe, what you can do, you can write your query to do the loading process. Okay, how you want to load your data, whether you want to do any transformation or you want to just transformation, or you want to just load whatever data is available. Now, what Snowflake will do, as soon as data arrives, Snowflake will get a notifications from your uh, cloud storage provider that there is a new file available in the blob storage. Snowpipe will get that notification, and what it will do, it will automatically load that file into Snowflake database, and then you will have up-to-date data, and everything happens in a near real time. No manual intervention required, no human intervention required. That saves your manpower, that saves you costing, and that gives you up-to-date data always.
Okay, awesome. I see we have one last question here. If anyone has any other questions, please put them in the question and answer. Actually, you know what? I'm just noticing this is how much does it cost to implement Snowflake? It's similar to what we're talking about with the pricing, but I think they're just talking about how much to implement it. So it's a little bit different, but similar to what I just asked you about how to save money.
Okay, so when you want to implement Snowflake for your business, initially what you can do, you can decide how many terabytes you want for the storage, and that will be cheaper, like $23 per terabyte per month. That's the cost if you have provisioned and given to Snowflake, okay, this many terabytes I want. Now, let's say in future you need extra storage. For that, you have to pay $40 per terabyte per month for whatever extra storage is there. Now, this is storage cost, and there is another separate compute cost, which will be $2 per credit. It's based on the usage, how many credits you have consumed. So for each credit, they are going to charge you $2. It starts from $2. It goes up to somewhere around, let me it generally goes up to $4 per credit, from 2 to 4 maximum.
And also keep in mind, some of these pricing can change as Snowflake changes some of their pricing, but it's good to know what it is right now. So with that said, I do see one final question that just came in, which I could answer. Someone asked us about the recording for the webinar, and generally we have it out within about a week. We like to just clean everything up, make sure it's all good before we send it out. So generally about a week after, we have everything ready to go with the webinar recording. With that said, thank you so much, Prabhash, for answering those questions and the demo. I know we're talking about right now, we spent a little less than an hour on how to use Snowflake. If your organization is looking for more help about how to manage your data, let us know. You could speak with our team and we could set up a free 1-hour Snowflake consultation to solve your data warehousing challenges. I'm putting in the chat box right now our email address, which is contact@beyondkey.com. Please contact us, copy the email, and contact us and set up a free 1-hour consultation. This way we could spend a little bit more time specifically addressing your specific data needs. And that's really what we want to help with today, is that how do we help you with your specific data needs using Snowflake to more effectively use this data warehousing solution to help your organization scale. With that said, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this webinar. Have a great day and a better week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.